We're in our second of our 4-part series on languages of joy. Today, we're going to delve into the difference in languages of simcha v'sason. We find these names, these languages in many, many places. Seek and you shall find. Every week in Havdalah, we say, La'ihudim ha'yisar, ora v'simcha v'sason b'ikar. In Keladon, Shabbos morning, we talk about the celestial bodies, the sun, and we say, Smechim b'tseisam, they're happy as they go out on their journey of the day, v'sasim b'voam, and they appreciate and experience sason when they arrive. On Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur liturgy, those amazing special tefillot, which we say on the holiest of days, we say, Simcha li'artzecha, there should be joy to your land, v'sason li'recha. Those are 3 examples of many, many, where we find simcha and sason. So what do these terms mean? And before we go on, we have to realize that the word simcha is a chameleon. It, of course, refers generally to all joy, as we call them, asara shemot shel simcha, simcha being one of them, but also simcha keeps changing in the commentators by what word it's next to. So we spoke about simcha, v'tuv levav, last week. The simcha, when it's compared to sason, is going to be a different kavanah, a different meaning next to sason than it was when it was next to tuv levav, as you'll see. We mentioned earlier Keladon, where we say smechim b'tseisam v'sasim b'voam. Rabbeinu Agra, the Vilna Gaon, who so much lights up different languages, points out where terms which seem to be the same are in fact very different. Explains here also from specifically our place in Tfilat Shabbat, in Tfilat Shabbos. Smechim b'tseisam v'sasim b'voam. The celestial bodies are sameach as they go out on their journey, but they're sus when they arrive. What does that mean? Simcha, in this context, is the joy of new beginnings. It's the joy of starting something. It's the joy of going in a new way. That every day they start a new journey to proclaim God's glory. That's what the sun is all about. And when it ends its journey, it's sason. Sason is a sense of a job well done. It's a sense I've finished something. I've completed. I'm there. What does simcha v'sason mean in that context? The Jews of ancient Iraq, in the times of Mordechai and Esther, in the Nes of Purim, the miracle of Purim, experienced the joy of new beginnings, of simcha, and of sason, of a job well done, the grand sense of finishing something great. Every Yom Tov, we need to touch both of these feelings, because we say in davening, Moadim l'simcha, Chagim uzmanim l'sason. So the moed is for simcha, and the chag is for sason. So we see these languages all over, these 2 feelings. Let's analyze together for a moment, go deeper. Which of these are we less talented at experiencing? Simcha, of beginning a journey, or sason, of having a sense of a job well done and being finished with something? I think most of you answered sason. We are used to being really happy when it comes to starting a new adventure. But to let ourselves take in the joy of finishing something is far more difficult for us. I think there are 2 reasons for this problem. One is, at times, it's hard to know when something is in fact done. And deeper, especially when we deal with avodas Hashem, with worshiping God, it's all so big and so complete and so many levels. Do we ever really finish anything? 2, as people who do a lot, we keep moving. I finished one thing, I started something, but before I have any time to experience the joy of finishing something, I'm on to my next task. So we never stop to smell the coffee, smell the flowers, experience sason. But now, let's think about it. This is a language of joy, and Hashem put it into our world for us to feel it. And we do finish things. As we say in Vidui Masrot, twice over the Shemitah cycle, the 7-year Shemitah cycle, we get rid of all of our outstanding masrot, all of the ties that are left in the house, and we make a vidui maisrus, what we call vidui masrot. We make a declaration of this. V'amarta, this is Dvarim Chafav. V'amarta lifnei Hashem Elokecha, ba'arti HaKodesh min habayit. I've gotten all of the ties out of my house. Gam natati v'levi, v'leger le'atom l'amanon. I've given the proper gifts to the poor and needy. According to all the mitzvahs that you've commanded me. I haven't passed over them. This is the nusach. This is the language which the whole Jewish people says. And basically we're saying, I did the mitzvah correctly. And listen to Rashi's language. We turn to Hashem and we say, Asinu masha gazarta aleinu. We've done what you've been gozer to us, Hashem. Aseh ata masha alecha lasot. Now Hashem, please do what you're supposed to do in repay of that. That's an amazing statement. So we do finish things. Michael Dell said, we celebrate for a nanosecond, then we move on. We say, Mr. Dell, you are a pro at making money in computers, but that is not the Jewish way of joy. We don't celebrate for a nanosecond. Take in your accomplishments, feel the sason for a long time. More importantly, the sense of sason is a ratzon builder, is a desire builder, as we'll explain. Rabbi Rucham, the great mashgiach, the spiritual advisor of the Mir Yeshiva in pre-war Europe, said a phenomenal insight. We know, Chazal tell us, our rabbis tell us, Yesh lo mana rotzeh masayim. Someone who has 100 wants 200. Someone who has 200 wants 400. That's the cycle of wealth. I saw once someone who had made about $800 million, and he was looking back and he said, you see these young guys who have $1.5 billion, and you wonder, where'd you go wrong? Yesh lo mana rotzeh masayim. But Rabbi Yerucham taught, that's not just, as we're commonly used to knowing, in Gashmiut, in physical things, it's in Ruchnis also. Yesh lo mana rotzeh masayim. When we have the experience and the joy and the sason of having something, that builds in us a ratzon, a desire for more. Yesh lo mana rotzeh masayim. You have a mesechta, you have a mitzvah that you're good at, you take care of poor people, you light candles Friday night. Fell in that feeling. And that will build a desire in you for more and more ruchnias. Yesh lo mana rotzeh masayim. I have one mitzvah, I want more mitzvahs. Now, especially as ratzon is one of the strongest, perhaps the strongest koach in the person, a desire is so strong, not to develop it as is possible is a terrible, terrible waste. So if we don't let ourselves experience, if we erroneously follow Mr. Dell's advice of only celebrating our accomplishments for a nanosecond, we won't build in ourselves the ratzon, the desire for pursuit of other positive things. Now, if sason is important for each and every one of us, all the more so for our children and our students. Celebrate their accomplishments, really celebrate, and enjoy their mitzvos and report cards. Take it in. We now have 4 unique joy experiences as we build our arsenal. The tuv levav we experience when things are matim and fit. The simcha, that excited feeling when happy things don't fit and are way above our level. And now the simcha together with sason of beginning new journeys, and finally that all-important sason, that special ratzon building joy when we finish things and experience the satisfaction of a job well done. And through that sense, we build our desire to move on to other amazing tasks in the future. Join us next week as we look into what simcha and gila is all about. Thank you very much.